Welcome to my solo journey that I took to Lesotho in April of 2019. I traveled from Durban, crossed into Lesotho via Ramaletsilo's Gate, stayed over at the spectacular Sehlabathebe National Park, traversed Matebeng Pass for my next stay over at Katse Dam. This was my experience. Although Google indicates a travel time of 6 hours, I took well over 9 hours due to my slow pace and many stopovers. This solo trip was more about the journey and spending time on my own than the destination. There is nothing more relaxing than driving on a gravel road, winding steadily along through the rural countryside. Approaching the Lesotho border post, the road alters between gravel and concrete as you begin to ascend a scenic mountain pass. There are many scenic and natural attractions to stop and admire up close. This area is well known for its sandstone formations and caves. It's easy to get caught up with exploring this area, but don't forget there's still lots of distance to cover before you reach Sehlabathebe National Park. Ramaletsilo's border post closes at 6 p.m, but the formalities is over within minutes. Another quick process on the Lesotho side, and you are back on a scenic gravel road traveling towards Sehlabathebe National Park. Sehlabathebe has chalets at both their lower camp and upper camp. However, all check-ins are done at their lower camp. The short drive to the upper camp gives you an indication of the rugged beauty of this National Park of Lesotho. The remote and scenic Sehlabathebe National Park is Lesotho's oldest and largest protected area and is situated in the southeast corner of the Kingdom of Lesotho. This contrast between the orange and grey jagged outcrops and overhangs will leave you mesmerized. The peace and solitude that this park offers the adventurous traveler is incredible. It was 10 years since I had been here. I could not wait for tomorrow morning to explore this area once again. Early the next morning, I began my drive up the mountain. Sehlabathebe is situated on a plateau with an elevation of approximately 2,400 meters above sea level. You can expect some harsh weather conditions, especially during the winter months. That being said, I was in high spirits as I was heading towards the most spectacular area of Sehlabathebe National Park. On screen, surrounded by the mist, is Jonathan's cottage, formerly the holiday home of Lesotho's Prime Minister. It used to be an option for accommodation. Nowadays, it's difficult to get accurate information with regards to this cottage. Apparently, there are plans to convert it into a museum. We at Sehlabathebe, the old campsite, and where I'm standing right now is exactly where we camped about 10 years ago. I recall I wanted to be as close to this dam as possible. There's not many birds' nests there now, but 10 years ago there were plenty of birds, and I'll never forget though the noises between the birds and the frogs. It was kind of difficult to sleep at night, but yeah, it added to the fun, it added to the enjoyment, and it was an experience that I'll never forget. And I'm just so grateful that 10 years later I'm standing on the exact same spot where we camped, and I'm so appreciative that we get the opportunity to come out and just enjoy the outdoors. The weather won't always be perfect, but we won't always be around to enjoy moments like these. So every opportunity you get out there, explore and make memories. The restricted size of the entrance to these buildings was due to security reasons in the past during times of war. For a more detailed history of this area, it's best to employ the services of the knowledgeable local tour guides who will share many interesting insights of the cultural side of Sehlabathebe National Park. This sunken cave really caught my attention. Pity I could not find a way in. Or in this case, how would I climb out of that? Thankfully, there are numerous other caves that are easier to access. I had a great time exploring the many interesting caves and ruins of Sehlabathebe. It was time to head back to the lower lodge. I'm back from my excursion. From the footage that you guys saw, I'm sure you'll also agree that Sehlabathebe National Park is an amazing place. The weather wasn't too good today, but it still didn't take away how beautiful this place actually is. If you haven't had a chance to come out here, I highly recommend that you do. Come out here, come and see the beauty of this country called Lesotho. I decided to stay at the lower camp today. Reason being, it is quite close to the main road. Tomorrow, I plan on leaving quite early. I'm going to head to Katse Dam via Matebeng Pass. I'm actually excited to see what tomorrow has in store. It hasn't stopped raining. The roads are going to be wet. That I'm sure of. But let's see how it goes. Your lounge, sitting area, small kitchen with a 4-plate gas stove. You got your fridge, your urn, that looks like a gas heater. Down the passage, basic main bedroom, toilet and bathroom. And here you have bedroom number 2, the 2 single beds. It was an early departure for me the next morning. Thankfully, the weather was perfect for overland travel. Today's travel between Sehlabathebe to Katse Dam was what I was most looking forward to. I was both excited and a bit apprehensive as I approached Matebeng Pass. I had no idea what to expect from the route up ahead. The adventure was about to begin. Up ahead, through the mist, the imposing radio mast began to take shape. This radio mast also serves as a landmark for the approximately 3,000 meters apex of Matebeng Pass. This spot serves as the perfect stopover point, and trust me, the views on the other side are absolutely epic. I've stopped at the top of the pass. I'm just standing here and I'm in awe with this beauty. Let me turn the camera around so I can show you. It was now time to begin the long descent, and if memory served me correct, the next 20 kilometers would be the most challenging. However, at that point, I was more engaged with admiring the beautiful scenery around me. So far, my stock standard 2.2 liter diesel Ford Ranger bakkie was driving like a dream. The only extra on this vehicle is the mud terrain tires, which aided a bit with clearance. Since leaving the lodge this morning, this lone horseman was the only other human I had come across thus far. The rocky sections of this route had begun, requiring a slow and steady pace. On the other side of Matebeng Pass, the road is getting very interesting. but not too difficult. So I'm actually enjoying myself, and let's push on. Further on, I came across the most stunning section of many waterfalls. I had to take a closer look. For me, this is what makes travel so exciting. You come out to new places, you see these natural wonders that you don't normally see. I've counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waterfalls. Isn't that, well, for me, that is spectacular. A few kilometers further on, I came across a section of the road that had been washed away. Thankfully, there was a rock slab above over which I could detour. I continued to descend the rough terrain and began to slowly approach the Kulu River. The Kulu River eventually flows into the Senku River, but more about this later on. On this route, one of the most epic landmarks are these giant freestanding sandstone cliffs. They are truly striking. I promised myself that one day I would once again return here for a closer look at that cave on the hill. The trail began to climb, and below to my left was the famous Senku River, which begins in the Maluti Mountains, eventually becomes the Orange River, which is South Africa's longest river. Once again, the beautiful scenery encouraged me to stop for both the leg stretch and, more importantly, to add to my collection of scenic Lesotho images. The route ahead became much more easygoing, passing through a few villages and also driving over some modern bridges. The scenery continued to be amazing, forcing me to stop once again and capture this fleeting moment. The night was slowly settling in, and I still had many kilometers to travel to my next overnight stop at Katse Dam. Traveling at night is never a good idea. Thankfully, I arrived safely at my destination and awoke to birdsong and the most spectacular sunrise. The lodge is situated above the banks of the Katse Dam and offers comfortable rooms at a very reasonable cost. As of October 2022, the lodge has been closed for the past 2 years due to renovations. Hopefully, they will open up again soon. After an early restaurant breakfast, it was time to make the long journey back home. But first, I had to visit a lookout point close by with an amazing view. Just behind me is the actual Katse Dam wall. I'm standing at the old campsite, which in my opinion has the best views of this amazing engineering feat. And just looking at this wall doesn't cease to amaze me or take my breath away. I've been here 10 years ago. I'm standing here again today, and I just can't believe how awe-inspiring it is. Tours of the inner dam wall are conducted daily. Sadly, the available times were too late for me. Another good reason to return to Katse Dam one day. As you depart from Katse, the spectacular views of the dam remain with you for many kilometers. Further on, you get to cross over the dam via one of the longest and most scenic bridges in Lesotho. By now, I am sure you have also become an admirer of the many scenic mountain passes of Lesotho. What a truly epic destination for some wonderful road trips. Take note, there are a few security stops en route to the border. The crossing over from Lesotho back into South Africa was once again hassle-free. The mountain kingdom of Lesotho is truly an amazing country to visit. I would definitely be back to explore more of this wonderful destination. If you have not yet had a chance to experience Lesotho, what are you waiting for? Get out here, come and see the beauty of this country called Lesotho.